Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdoms Project, and episode 2. Today I thought we would take a tour of London. After last episode, London, as far as I'm concerned, is in an impeccably good state. It is finally, to some sort of a degree, where I want it to be. And so I thought we would just walk around and maybe I'll discuss my plans when I decide to come back to London. But I've been here for so long, it's time to move on. I've been working recently in Afrifell. If you were here for episode 0, that is the Nordic Skyrim sort of Viking-esque type of city I plan to build. And that was one of the other kingdoms as well that I do plan on building on here as well. But today is all about London. Walking through, looking at builds, doing some flybys, catching some nice scenery. And so yeah, without further ado, let's just take a walk. And so as the sun begins to set, let's set off. Start here with the clock tower. Should use the proper name for it, the Sandfell Clock Tower. And inside here is actually, yes, it's unfinished. A lot of London is unfinished. You're gonna find that to be a common theme throughout this whole thing. But inside the main clock tower is, in fact, my mob farm. If I fly up here, you can see it's just your standard mob farm with the observers and dispensers in the middle of it. And believe it or not, this sat like this for the better part of a year. Better part of a year and a half. And finally, I got sick of looking at it, so I built this entire clock tower around it. And yeah, it has all the standard drops. A disposal system right there. You can see a little bit of it thanks to the shaders. But yeah, this was an immensely fun project to do. I am really glad I took the time, sat down, and built this whole clock tower. And this was actually my first project using Lightmatica. And there's pieces of it that aren't quite done yet, like right here is supposed to be, you know, a bunch of grass and other flowers, not just the pink petals. There's also supposed to be a tree here, which I haven't quite got to yet. But eventually it'll all be done. And we'll walk across the bridges that we built in the last episode. And take a gander from afar. That was such a fun project to do. And so far, to date, this is the largest project, well, second largest project. There's one that's clear out there, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a project out in the ocean, which is only maybe a third done. Maybe. And we'll get to that too. So yeah. Come across the bridges. Hey. Who are you? Get out of here. Go and get. Take your bony self on out of here. I don't want your arrows. Get on up out of here. Get on up out of here with your arrows and whatnot. And now we enter into what little swamp is actually around here. And I'll take a quick nap too so we can see it better in the daytime. I love walking around here at night. Doesn't really make for good video, I think. Or so I've seen, and so I've been told. And now we get into what little swamp there is. I do plan on extending these trees. And these are cypress trees. I think they're bald cypress trees. And they're specifically native to the swamps of Louisiana, which is where I got the inspiration for a swamp. I think, hey, what better place to take inspiration from than Louisiana? And so a lot of these are going to extend out into this water area. And I'll build like a few little rocky islands out here, just to kind of fill in the space, because it seems empty. Just having no trees here, I mean, except for those default swamp trees over there. I think it'll look nice. It'll enclose it, make it feel real swampy. Kind of like it does in most swamp movies. And really, the only one I can reference is Waterboy, off the top of my head right now. And of course, we just passed the original spawn point, the Vigil, which will be updated soon. I try to keep the Vigil updated. I'm sure I've said it before. Keep the Vigil updated at least once a month with myself and my two friends that I play on here with. And right there, you eagle-eyed people, that's 0-0. I might build a little monument or something there. I haven't quite gotten to it yet. And yeah, that's the village, the Vigil village. The Vigil, and you can see over here, I've started to kind of wrap this around, and in here, I'll do a little time-lapsey thing here. In here, you can see where the river comes out, and the cypress trees kind of start there, and eventually they're going to enclose this little lagoon right here. I guess you would call it a lagoon. And really kind of separate it from the rest of the water around here. That's something I've been wanting to do and trying to do for a while, and just I can only build so many trees before it gets dull. And actually, here's a little hidden something. Not down there. I think it's this one. Yep. Down here is my orchid farm. As you can see, I got a ton of bone meal, measly stack of orchids. But yeah, if I need to call a lot of orchids, you know, it's just your standard piston pusher farm. Nothing really exciting. But that's where that is. Kind of out of the way, you know, underground, because I don't really use it all that often, or need it all that often. And my favorite part of walking through here is the sightlines to the clock tower. Sandfell clock tower. And actually, I think it's right here. This is the icon for the server on the menu. So that way everybody knows where you are. Or at least it will be, if it's not already. And now we get into the I need to quit breaking stuff. Now we get into the slums. And this was the first building right here. That kind of set the tone for everything else. And of course we were here last episode, finishing off this side, this little narrow street right here. I haven't really done much. I've put in the doors and some of the windows on these buildings, but I haven't really done much else. It's just kind of sat here, and I'm living with it. I'm living with it for a while until I get a wild hair, or I get bored or something and want to come over here and really fix this place up and make it look how it's how it should in my head. Get the idea out of my head and into the world. And this building here is different on account of its where I wanted to start transitioning from like run down, pieced together, boarded up, you know, buildings into the more put together, better maintained areas, like over here. And I found it kind of difficult. As you can see, I built another one here. Found it kind of difficult to do that, so hence the forest in the middle of town. And yeah, we were also here last episode, so I won't stay very long over here. Just, you know, brief walkthrough. And this is where we come out over here at the dockyard at our little harbor here. And it is quite small for the size of London. This is quite a small harbor. And I've kind of designated this more for imports. And imports of consumer goods, not really for industrial goods. And a lot of the stuff over here, like this is where the fishermen hang out, as you can see by this fishing stand here. Pots, gems, exotic plants, books, artwork, things along those lines. And yeah, there's some industrial stuff, like there's timber that comes in through here. A lot of timber comes in through here. Copper comes in through here. Some things like TNT also come into here. And there's not very many docks. Like maybe one ship can pull into here. And I kind of designed this place really with less docks in mind, especially over here, on account of there's so many cranes around. I mean, there's this one here, like a ship can pull up right here, and this crane can offload all the cargo from it and put it over here safely in the yard. And not very many ships need to actually dock at the docks. Although I might build a few that stick out from here, and maybe one or two that stick out from there. But I mean, this is mostly for consumer goods and not importing of consumer goods, not really exporting. And this area here, these two warehouses, they're still not quite 100% done. They're as done as I want them to be. I mean, you can walk through here as we are now and look at some stuff, and as you can see, there's some floating blocks where I haven't gotten to put the other stuff in yet. And the upstairs is empty. It's all designed and built. I just need to take a few minutes, might do it off camera as well, come over here and input and put in all the decorations. That's all that really needs to be done. And then you see over here, this is where another area where a ship can just pull up right here. There's a mooring station there. more up to here, offload its cargo, and it's automatically put into... Immediately, I shouldn't say automatically. Immediately put into the warehouse for later distribution around the city or to shopkeepers. Places along those lines. And these two are identical, because then you got this one right here. Like this one and that one, they're exactly the same, just same but different. Which I think is really quite nice. And I did design them that way as well. And like you can see here, there's some blocks missing and not quite done, but it's as done as I want it to be. And also over here, in the space between them, I got some trees in that I did last episode. I do want to get one more tree in, probably like over here somewhere, and get a few smaller ones in here as well. And that over there, thanks to Distant Horizon, that is an old raid farm, some of you may know. And yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work anymore. Although I am gonna leave it there as like a relic to time gone by that we can't get to anymore. And then here's something that I haven't shown on camera, is the Thieves Guild. And this is mostly done. I mean, there's some blank areas where I do have some blocks placed, like over here is a table with some hoppers and brewing stands on it. That shelf is empty. And if we look in here, you can see that this is where the actual potion brewing, illegal potion brewing, is going on. And there's supposed to be a table here, soul sand, you know, all the goods. And down here, they move a lot of artwork. I mean, they have other things, like they have pistons and gems and redstone and the things that they're moving down here. But they fence a lot of artwork. And I think down here I do have every painting in the game either displayed on the wall or in a shipping crate or on a shelf like this. They're very proud of their artwork and valuable minerals, materials, and such. And as you can see, even this isn't done. I designed most of that over there, and I brought this all over here, and this is about as far as I got. Kind of lost steam after all of this. Mostly so I could start episode 1. I wanted to get this place mostly finished, and then start episode 0, not episode 1. And as you can tell, there's a good chunk of stuff missing. Some of the walls aren't even done. None of the rooms are furnished. And I'm pretty sure I did furnish most of these. I honestly can't remember. I think I furnished most of them, though. And even the library down here isn't quite done yet. There's supposed to be a couple of tables here. And that back wall isn't done. Yeah. Things for me to do off camera. Fill in these and finish what bits and pieces that need to be done. And as we go upstairs into the out now, and we take a wander over here at this large empty area. And that's going to remain largely empty for a good while. And there's a zombie beneath me. Hello. Yeah. I really like walking around here now. Now that all the trees are in, I used to never really build trees. And it took me until this monstrosity here. There's only like 3 or 4 trees around there, but they add so much. And I never really realized it until then. And then I started putting trees like all over there and all through here now. This used to be wide open. And now it feels enclosed, like it's a part of the landscape now, like it's always been here. Even though we both know it hasn't. And Tower Bridge is my favorite bridge to walk across. I mean, we can walk across those bridges there, but I want to redesign those, make them a little better. Make them better looking and so they fit better. And over here, at some point or another, this will be kind of where the financial area of London is. Like, there's going to be a bank. Maybe over there-ish. I really haven't quite decided yet. I have not gotten to this area yet. At some point, I do want to build a church. Not necessarily a cathedral, because I think this area is too small. But I definitely do want to build a church. A bank. And this is where a lot of the nobility is going to live as well. And if we walk over this way, there's a island over there. Sprint to it right quick. And also hop into free cam just to show this area off a little bit. So from here to here, and also incorporating this little island here, this is going to be like the financial hub, kind of religious area, because the church is going to be right off the bridge. That's where I've wanted it for a while, is in this area here. But I might put the bank over here? Maybe over here. Anyway, when we come back to London at some point, and it might be a while, like I said, this area is going to be next. Like this central island here, along with this one I'm going to add to it. But this central island here is going to be the main focus. I've kind of been reworking bits and pieces of it as I've gone along, and this is the next big chunk, the next big push. But yeah, a lot of the nobility are going to live over here, financial area, and on this island here is going to be a castle. And I'm going to call it the Clockwork Castle. This is going to be very steampunky. A lot of gears, a lot of belts, you know, gears like that, belts like those right there, those right along that edge right there. Very, very steampunky. And maybe a smokestack or two just to add to it. I haven't quite gotten to this part yet because I need to do some terraforming, fix up the island. And it's going to be really cool, though. I really can't wait to get started on that in a future time. And so that's the future of this area. And now we go to like the downtown, I suppose. And this block here that we're walking by, and this one right here, I've recently reworked and rebuilt. There's some sections of it, like this building here, the one next door, and this section here, those houses up there, this section here. This building I do want to add a few details to, but anyway. There's still lots of London left to rebuild and redesign. This is where I have my villagers. I got my masons in here. Librarians in here. And yeah, and there's also this backside here that we need to have finished and complete. And I'm not sure if I want to keep that. I don't really know what I was doing with that at the time. But I do kind of want to rebuild it, redesign it. And there's, at some point, I do want to have an observatory on top of the mountain, way up there. Not on the floaty mountain, on this one. And this bridge, the underside needs to be finished. Not quite sure what to do about that. I might just keep the arches and make, like, really enhance lean into the archway design of the top here. This was kind of meant to be Dwarven-esque, like very Dwemer inspired, on account of all the archways connecting everything together. And I like this bridge too. It just needs a little more and to actually be, you know, cemented into the landscape rather than just floating. And over here, on this side of the island, is the industrial district. And this is where I have a lot of my farms. And I even have a super smelter, even though it really doesn't work very good. I mean, it works, just I run out of fuel rather quickly. And the bamboo farm there, moss farm here, this big old monstrosity here, which needs a lot more detail to it, is my iron farm. And when we come back to London, this is going to be the main focus, is the industrial area. Because this building here, that's my slime farm, well, the output to my slime farm, has been sitting here like this for over 2 years now. And I don't like the way this district looks. I don't like the layouts of the buildings and farms where they're at. So every single building here, with the exception of the iron farm, is going to be torn down and rebuilt. Rebuilt so some of the farms run better, especially like the sugarcane farm. That one needs to be redone. I did want to take this little section out of the video and ask you if you are indeed enjoying the video, enjoying the tour of London and the discussion of future plans. Please hit that subscribe button, because there's more videos coming soon. It would mean a lot to me if you did so, and to grow the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to the episode. And now that we've made our way back through the industrial district, we'll cross the Dwemer Bridge. I don't know what to call it. That's a good enough name. And now we get to the Eastern Gate? What direction am I facing? North. Excuse me. The Northern Gate. Northern Gatehouse. But now that London is an industrial superpower, I suppose, if you will, and the kingdom itself is as well, there's no real need. So this is kind of a relic of a lost time when you actually needed guards and a gatehouse to keep the citizens safe. And now all of this area has been turned into farmland. And here's our first sign. Out of the city. That way. On your right will take you to Hafrafell and the Shadow Refuge. That's a island that my friend Thunderdash, you'll see him every once in a while. That's a island that he's been working on for probably about a year and a half, I want to say. And if we walk this way, this is not a cemetery, it's my tree farming area. I needed a large area, kind of outside of town, something I could sort of hide. That I could just put down some area and be able to farm my trees in peace. I grow all the I have the ability to grow all of the tree types, and I just recently put in these over here, these little podzol areas for growing mushrooms. And this area does get quite a bit of use when I need it, because mostly I'll sit down for hours, an hour or 2 or 3, and fill these chests up, and this is where I store all of the leaves, all the wood, wood, sticks, where I harvest up mangrove saplings, because they're kind of a pain to get, and throw all of the other excess stuff in to make bone meal and whatnot. Alright, nap taken. Now on to the rest of the area. And there's, as you can see, I do still have quite a bit of work to do out here. It's real nice. And this is where I moved all of the wheat fields out here. And this area is huge. Like, this area goes all the way... Whoop, I'm sorry about that. Goes all the way to that tree line way over there. And this is how the city of London feeds itself. Feeds itself or grows dyes. Over here, there's a flower field with the whole rainbow of flowers in there. Not all of them, but, you know, at least the ones that are brightly colored. Now they get their corn, even though it's beets. Windmill for the grain. And if you come over here, there's my buddy Thunder. He's working on a train system, and there's 2 stations in London. This one, which is the London Country Station, and that's when I've finished building it. There's the London Country Station, which is this one, and then there's the London City Station, which is in that tower there. You go in that, at the base of that tower, you go down, and it's really cool. He's taken it upon himself to dig tunnels, massively long tunnels, all the way to various locations around. And I think he might be on his way to Hafrafell now, if I remember correctly. And if we go down here, as you can see, it's very nice. Brightly lit. Insanely brightly lit. Jeez. And here is the tunnel itself. And here is, like, the main station. It's all, you know, done by minecart. London City is that way. Haverfell is that way. I don't know if he's... No, it looks like he's not done with that section. But yeah. Let's take a fly, hit a lantern on the way by, and come to here. And here is kind of a midway station. This is where, like, 4 different tracks meet. Like, you have London, the country station, and Haverfell down that way. I don't remember what's down that way, though. But this is kind of a midway station where you just roll up and, like, transfer track or walk around and go down the other way. I don't remember what's down that way either. I think that one might be to Port Ember and the North Gamu Islands. And I think that way is to the Shadow Refuge. But if we come over this way, fly back down here, and just a little bit further, here we are. This takes us up to... One more. We just came from down there. This takes us up right here. Right beneath this tower. Walk in. I haven't quite gotten to this area yet, obviously. But yeah. That is... I would tour the whole tunnel project, but I don't know what's complete and what isn't. I know a lot of it isn't, as you can clearly see. And maybe this might be my friend's nudge to actually getting going on it. Because I think it'd be really cool. It'd be really awesome to have a different way other than flying around or taking the nether to get to locations and projects and places we want to go. But for now, we'll fly on down this way. Back to the country station. That is exceptionally bright. And this place is fully decorated. There's an office up here. Some paintings on the walls. I think the only place that isn't decorated really is up here. But I mean, it's how often are we coming all the way up here? I use that mostly as an AFK point. If I'm waiting on crops to grow or copper to oxidize. And I'll have included in here, as I'm kind of talking and rambling, a brief time lapse of, and I think I might include, looking at it now, might include brown mushroom blocks in here. I think that would look real nice. And the roads are going to be fairly wide. I'm gonna have them maintain at least 7 blocks for main roads. And here we come to our second signpost. Haverfell and Starlight Castle are that way. Starlight Castle is a castle my friend Thunder is working on. And London is back that way. And this way we have the Shadow Refuge and Carif Village. Along the road is a Taiga Village. And this is one of 2 villages that are around the greater London area in the kingdom. And this is one that I'm gonna renovate. But anyway, this is gonna be one of those, like, outskirt town type deals. very, well, I wouldn't say a very rural community, but it is a rural community nonetheless. Now coming back to this sign here, that was Kareth Village we were just at. And now we go this way to the port for the Shadow Refuge. Failed jump, yet to be completed. A lot of this area is yet to be completed, a lot of this farming area. And then again, it's huge. It takes up probably a 20 square chunk area, if I had to guess. It's huge. And we started way over there. And now we're way over here. And this building here is, in fact, the sheep farm. Or as my friend and I call it, the sheep lag. If you know the joke, you know the joke. And that's about when I built it. And it's got fully automatic shearing capabilities. It's got all 16 colors of wool. Just sitting in here, ready to be utilized for anything. It does have an upstairs, and it's got a little bit of a loft area up here, and you can see out here. In fact, actually, let's take a fly up. You can see that I do have a few farming areas, a few more plots of farm planned out, looking nice. And over there, ooh, I forgot to mention this on our walk back. Over there, that's going to be like a little farmer's house, little homestead farmhouse type deal going on there. More farms out that way. We'll get to out that way. But I think this is about as far as I'm going to go out this way, because there's really nothing out here. I mean, I could take you to where I have planned tentatively to build the port for the Shadow Refuge, but I need to work with Thunder on that. And actually right here, somewhere probably about there-ish, I want to say, right where my cursor is, there's going to be another windmill, a few more farms, and back here, behind the old sheep lag, is going to be like a cow grazing area, kind of in this general area. And I do want to have a few horses over here, like whatever horses are out here already. And somewhere in here is going to be a pig pen, a pen for the piggies, because I do want this to be a productive farming area. Like, this is where the City of London is self-sustaining it. It's self-sustaining when it comes to agriculture. And so now we fly over here-ish through these unfinished crop fields. And I'm just kind of rotating like wheat, potatoes, carrots, things along those lines. And I'm introducing some other ones too. Like this one here is a vineyard. And it also kind of doubles as a sweet berry farm too. Ow. But I wanted it to look like a vineyard. Growing a lot of grapes here, and weirdly enough, the grapes are these. And it turned out nice. I like the way it turned out. Took me a while. Took me a while to do that. And over here is what used to be a carrot field, and it's now in rotation. Like they take care of their land here, and they do proper crop rotation, and this carrot field is being left to fallow. I believe is the term. And then out here, there's another big wheat field. And I've also decided to put another windmill somewhere along here. I can't remember exactly where I've put it, but it's along here. Just so that way they have plenty of spaces to process all the grain, make the flour, to make the bread. For the city, excuse me. And then over here, along this road, off the beaten path, I say that, and there's a main road here, is where I've decided to build a quarry. I haven't finished the road to it yet, excuse me. But yeah, this lovely hole in the ground right here is the quarry for the City of London. This is where they've gotten all their general materials for the city. And I do have designed and built, and I do have the schematics ready to go. For a couple of head frames. And if you don't know what head frames are, you will come to know them quite well once we get around to building over here. But yeah, this is going to be a major industrial area where a lot of ore processing and obviously open pit mining takes place. And I don't know if I want to get rid of this water pool yet. It doesn't make a lot of sense because, you know, it's not really being held up by anything. But I might incorporate this and build some supporting structures. But yeah, over here is going to be a lot of mining, ore processing, things along those lines. And here's where it is in relation to the rest of everything else. Clock tower way over there. Castle going to be sitting here. Yeah. And then there's one of the other villages over there. Not quite sure what I want to do with that one. I think that might be one of the other places, but I know there's one buried off over there or somewhere. That's also going to be under this kingdom's flag. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the City of London. Discuss the future plans for London. Kinda not really itching to get back here just yet. But when we do, we're going to be here for a nice long while. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is indeed where I'm going to leave it off for this episode. If you did enjoy, thank you all for watching. And I will definitely catch you in the next one. Y'all take care.